anyway, the other bit of information here is so we got a couple records we're gonna listen to tonight, and we got a new setup. So Jake, I'm gonna throw to you on this. Um, I had I had a pair of speakers that had an amplifier built into them, but we've since changed that. So what do I have going on now here, Jake?
So, I'm definitely a big like audio nerd. So whenever new stuff comes up, like I'll get some kind of marketing email about it, and I'm a sucker for that. I'll open the marketing email
Yeah.
and see what's going on. Because I just like to browse, and so there's this speaker manufacturer and audio equipment dealer called Parts Express. They're known nationally, like everyone gets a lot of speaker component parts from there, but they're in Ohio, so I've always bought from them. And one of their main brands called Dayton Audio released a new amplifier, and I kind of always knew, like I've always had like I spent a lot of money on like my equipment, so I kind of know the floors on like where things drop off. And to be clear, I don't think the previous setup was bad, but what would kind of happen, I noticed, was anytime we wanted to really crank music or get it a little bit louder, we'd lose clarity in the speakers. And I was just on a whim, I guess it was because it just didn't have enough wattage to drive the kind of decibels we wanted. Anyway, I opened this marketing email, and there's this really cool amplifier. I don't know, Colin, maybe you can like show a picture of it or something, or take a picture and put it on the episode so our viewers can see. But it's a tube amplifier. It's like a hybrid tube amp. So in the old days they used tubes in their amplifiers. It's like an old, more archaic type of power amplification. In this one, it's kind of hybrid. So new stuff that you see today, like in TV receivers, it's called solid state. It's like a chip. It's like a soldered chip on like a computer board that handles all that voltage regulation and stuff. This one takes tubes, and instead of having tubes in the power stage, it has a tube preamp. So the signal, that's the low-level signals that are being fed from your sources, are kind of colored by that old school tube sound, and then you have a more new technology actually amplifying it and driving up that sound. So you kind of get the character, supposedly, of an old tube amp with the
just
reliability
like
and efficiency of newer technologies. And also, of course, you guys we've had my subwoofer I brought over at Record Night Podcasts for a long time that I just kept over there because we've enjoyed it so much, and I really don't get much use from it over here. But the same thing, I had surround speakers here, and that are really nice, that again just weren't getting any use. And I said, well, I text Colin, I said, dude, if you buy this, I don't use this stuff, I'd be glad to just donate it for the podcast. It's yours if you get the amp. So he's like, all right. And it's not a cheap amp. And so he bought it, and we hooked it up. Once he texted me, I came over and hooked everything up, and man, it sounds bomb diggity. It's like the perfect setup. It's like the perfect setup for the room. So I was actually kind of excited, Joe, for today, because I'm excited for your reaction to kind of hear the difference.
Well, I know Dayton Audio because I got some speakers from Dayton Audio for my record player, and they're amazing.
Yeah,
I mean they're so good. I mean, you could tell, like, with the first time you turn them on, like you could tell the difference between like maybe the lower end speakers that you had before, because I just had like the speakers that came with the record player, so they're not like, or I think that's how it worked. And then I upgraded, and it's like you could tell, like, especially with the bass, like more like bass heavy songs and or songs that have to deal with like depth in sound, like maybe they're playing a sound from afar, and it comes in to focus, like that stuff you could really pick up, and then it just like it's so.
Yeah, to be completely honest, it was funny because I was scared. I was like, man, I hope this is like, it's not a cheap thing to ask someone to buy or recommend. So like for my own what would say, reputation's sake, like I hope this sounds awesome, and it did. So I'm happy that my experience has served me well thus far. So I'm happy that I'm excited to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, so the speakers I had, I think were I don't even remember. You were telling me. I think it was 40 watt, like
Yeah.
20 in each speaker, and this is the amp I have now is 100 watt. So
50 in each.
Yeah. So it's a big difference, about double the power.
Have you tested them out yet, like proper, like Sound and Fury or something? Like
no, not so, believe me, when you hear it, it makes you want to listen to every record you have.
Yeah.
Just to hear it again, because I just thought like I feel like when we listen to records here, like they're already improved. Like even with the speakers I had, they're already improved so much just by listening to them loud and like.
And in the setting which we listen to them at, we're all just sitting around actually like listening to music. There's there isn't a TV on or like you're not doing stuff like on your phone. You're just like listening to music, and I think that really enhances it with the speakers and the subwoofer and all that. Now we got the amp, the cool tube amp.
Yeah,
which is sweet.
So I figured let's just go all the way and really. So when I've tested it, what I told Jake is my initial feedback is like, it's definitely like you can turn it up really loud. It's just fuller. Like it's definitely. I wouldn't use the term louder. I would say fuller. And it's the kind of thing like I can go like far away and hear it just crystal clear. Like it's so I definitely notice
with
the improvement
with my speakers too. Like if I have to go to because my record player's in the living room, but if I have to go to my like room for something, like you could still you could still hear it like pretty good,
and all the details and everything. So yeah,
I live in an apartment, so I'm not playing it super loud,
right.
and I still get really good sound quality on those low volume levels.
Mm-hmm.
You can still hear every little detail and stuff, which is great.